Unit 13 Assignment 1. The first quality that I will talk about is the knowledge of sport skills. This is when the sport leader knows what the sport is about, how the youth academy works, the background information about the club that he's managing, and what the strengths and weaknesses are of the sport itself. Peter Morse, who's a coach at England cricket team, he's a former player, so he's already been in the player's boots, so he's a prime example to someone that would know, who would have a good knowledge of the sport skills. This brings experiences with him, and the advantage of this is that he can identify youth talent, for example, Joe Root and Danny Briggs, who've played good for England. Knowledge of rules and laws. This is important for the manager because nowadays laws and regulations are being emphasized on because of racism and all different factors. So example was when Lewis was at Liverpool, under Kenny Dalglish he bit Evra, he racially abused Evra, that's one. What Kenny Dalglish did was he made these shirts which has Suarez's figure on, and to the Kick It Out campaign, this was a bad sign, as in a way he was promoting racism, as they thought. Under Kenny Dalglish, when he bit Chiellini, Brendan Rodgers had a one-to-one conversation in which he told Suarez to apologise in public, which he did. The analysis of this is that Liverpool won the Fair Play Award, which is for behaviour, last season, and Liverpool were far more successful last season as well. Understanding mental needs of participants. Jose Mourinho is one of the best at doing that. He knows what exactly his players needs to motivate them, what sort of things he needs to do in order to get them playing at the full maximum. Mourinho last year cancelled a Christmas party because they lost in the FA Cup to Sunderland, and because of that, Jose Mourinho cancelled the Christmas party. But this year, since they're performing very well, so the Christmas party went on. During this period, Jose Mourinho would keep an eye out on how his players' response to the Christmas party, whether it's a good thing to do and whether it's not. Understanding physical needs of participants. This is when the manager knows exactly when to bring players back after they've been injured. Understand the fitness levels of each player and what the rest periods for each player are. A good example of this is Arsene Wenger, because most of the time his squad is injured, especially in defence. Competing in Premier League and Champions League, which are two major tournaments, he needs to ensure that he's keep rotating his squad. So he's one of the best examples at it. Objectivity, which is a characteristic. This is when the manager knows exactly what he wants from his team, what he needs to do in order to achieve it. He makes his judgments based upon the facts. Example of this is Balotelli when he signed for Liverpool. He was playing 8 consecutive matches or something until Brendan Rodgers realised he wasn't the answer to his questions. So he tried out Ricky Lambert to see if he'd be a better option. Since Ricky Lambert's being picked, he's scored 4 goals already for his team, compared to Balotelli's only scored 1 in the Premier League. Patience is another characteristic. This is just when the sport leader is relaxed. He gives time and he doesn't rush things. Amir Khan's an example of this. When after his second or third defeat, he had to change his coach. People in the community and sport critics were criticising him, saying that his career is over because most boxers after the third defeat, their value's gone. So he got a new coaching, practiced a new style of boxing, so he had to give the coach the time to implement this new boxing style. After he's had a change in coaches, he hasn't lost a match yet, 5. Persistence is when the sport leader is encouraging his participants or players to carry up, to continue performing well. If not, like Yaya Toure, he hasn't really performed as well as he did last season. Therefore, Manuel Pellegrini's had a one-to-one conversation with Yaya Toure where he said that we want you at the club, just continue doing the trainings that you already have. And analysing this, Yaya Toure feels wanted as recent. There's been speculation that he wants to leave. Consistency is another one. This is when the sport leaders have got a same approach to these training sessions, week in, week out, not changing much things in training. Arsene Wenger is one of the best sport leaders at making sure that your team finishes in top four, because in the past 3 seasons they've always finished fourth, and that's just a record of either finishing fourth or third. In a way, analysing this is a good and a bad effect. The good effect is that they're achieving Champions League, which means that they're getting the income generations. And the bad thing is Arsenal fans always pay to come and watch them, so finishing fourth isn't really what they want. They want them to progress higher. Organiser is where the sport leader is prepared, knows exactly what the training session should do. There's always a backup plan just in case something doesn't turn out right. Roy Hodgson, for the last World Cup, he's one of the first managers that already selected his England squad compared to every other nation that left it to the last minute. Analysing this, the England players would have been thinking that the manager is serious about this World Cup, that he really wants to win it. And it just creates a good atmosphere within the squad. And selecting the squad early allows the squad to gel together quicker as well. Motivator. A motivator in a sport leader is when the sport leader is always encouraging his participants, keeping things interesting. For example, Sir Ian McGeechan, who's an Irish and British line tour rugby team manager, they were losing at half-time, and he gave a famous speech where he said, "You're making history, you're putting the marker down. You this afternoon are saying what the 97 are all about." After that, they came back to win 39-11. So this shows that how motivation is key in rugby. And because the impact this had at halftime was good, because they ended up winning the match. Psychologist. This is where the sport leader understands what the sport psychology is about. Know what each participant's response to certain things are, and what he needs to do in order to achieve the potential of each athlete. Brian Clough heavily relied on sports psychology to get the best out of his team. He did this by saying before the match that the England manager is watching the game, so this automatically in the players' heads would have implemented the fact that they need to perform well in order to be selected. Role model. Wayne Rooney is being a recent role model of lately, because he's the captain of Manchester United as well as the England international team. Because of this, he's had to change his lifestyle, because he understands being a role model, he needs to portray a good image within the nation. So he's said in an interview that he stopped going out to nightclubs, and it's very rare that he does that now. Analysing this, Rooney's behaviour on the pitch. Rooney's a famous footballer, so everybody sees him play week in, week out. So what he does on the pitch influences the young people especially. Also, he's been on FIFA covers for about 7-8 years as well, and most young people have FIFA anyway. So you could see how influential he is.